this as well, right? Okay, we were discussing the first part. I think the other page I haven't report here. Yeah, let me take that. Oh, for some reason it is not showing. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk it through here. No problem, Hishani. No problem. Right. So the second question, yeah, it is the marking scheme is not fulfilled in the yeah English part. So I'm taking the Sinhala marking scheme. So it also having the English one as well, as I remember. Yes. So yeah, I'll go through the paper. I go by the paper. Otherwise, the people are going to be fox. Yeah, consider the following simplified circuit of the washing machine, right? What they're asking in the B part. So, according to that, the following is a truth table equivalent to the above logic circuit, which write down the label from A to H and the corresponding truth value, ones and zeros of each label. So, before we figure this out, right? Before we go for the things over here, we have to figure out what will be the output of this circuit, right? So to do that, we have to see how the circuit is working, right? Okay, so let me show you how the circuit is working. So they are talking about the washing machine, and there are three sensors: power switch is on, door is on, and water level is on. So if you if you consider P as the power switch, D as the door sensor, and W as the water level. So this AND gate, this is an AND gate, so going to give you D dot W, and from this AND gate in here as the final output, we are going to receive T dot W, right? So since there are AND operation in between these three, so to have one as the output, you should have all ones over here to have the value output. In case if you got any zero, you are not going to get the output as one, so it will give you the zero, so it will not work if you receive zero. So that means in your truth table, this is the only combination that's going to produce you one. right? So not any other combinations, because each and every other combination contains a single zero or more. So it is not going to work. So then you can fill up the things very easily. So all these places will be zeros. Only this place will become 1, right? So your answer is going to be A for G is going to be zeros and H is going to be 1, right? Okay, so moving to the next question. Yeah, third part says, what is the main difference between waterfall cycle model and iterative incremental life cycle model? So waterfall model is having a model where it completes a one step of the SDLC, and after that it should like once a step is completed, then only it can be moved to the other step, right? You can't move to the next step of the SDLC while a previous step is getting completed, right? Once it is being completed, then only you can move to the next step of the life cycle model in waterfall, right? But when it comes to the iterative incremental model, you can shift from one, you can start the very first step, and during the very first step you can go for the second step as well, right? So like if you match this to the example where a car is being made, if the car is being made in the waterfall model, you have someone should plan the car entirely, then only they can start the constructions of the car. But when it comes to the iterative incremental model, you can plan the car. So like on the way of planning the car, if the engine is being completed, so they can ask to construct the engine, and still the total plan of the car is being developed, right? The car එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් හදලා නැති වුණාට වැඩේ පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් in iterative incremental model. So that kind of an idea should be there. I'll show you the marking scheme. They have given the similar idea in there. Yeah. So these are the way that they have said it. You may refer the English part only, right? Activities of each phase in waterfall life cycle has to be completed before starting next phase, while activities of each phase will be partially completed in each phase of iteration in iterative incremental life cycle, or a synonyms, right? You should have this idea, right? So if you got any alternative answers, you can ask, right? Or if you have this idea in your question, you can get the marks. Right. Okay, so moving forward, if you got any questions, just ask during we are doing it, right? Then they're asking what are the advantages of a like iterative incremental model, right? So you can say many, right? Requirements does not need to be fully defined, right? What waterfall model, it is a must. But in iterative incremental model, the client don't need to, right? It can change. And user has opportunity to see all partial systems prototypes early and can provide feedback on prototype and or make changes to the requirement. Yeah, so while the system is developing, client is unable to give any changes. But in waterfall model, they are not, right? They are like taking the things from the client at the very beginning, then only then after client can only see the final product, not in during the production, right? And the other one, user has the opportunity to see the partial system prototype early and can explain requirements better. Yeah, that means the client will interact during the life cycle and will do the changes if he need. But when it comes to the waterfall model, client can't do such things, right? And software project schedules are short duration. Yeah, because they are like creating component by component when it comes to the iterative model, right? එකක් complete කරනවා, complete වෙච්ච එක හදන්න පටන් අරන් ඉවර කරනවා. ඊළඟ එක design කරලා ඉවර වෙච්ච ගමන් එයා හදන්න පටන් අරන් ඉවර කරනවා. Right? So the schedulers or like the time slots taken to complete the components are comparatively short, right? And again, shorter schedules you can take, right? So other than that, if you got any alternative answers, just let me know, right? So these are the answers. Right, so you can have 2 marks, no, not 2, actually 1 mark if you got any one of these, right? So you have to write any one of these, right? Not the entire thing. Yeah, no problem, Heshani, no problem. Yes, Natasha, you can give that as an answer. With each increment, more features are added. Yes. No problem, Heshani. Go and, yeah, I know about the school situation though. So like go and you can join it by tomorrow. No problem. Right. So any one of these things can be taken as the correct answer. Yeah, the second answer means, Leandra, you mean the second part. You are going to have 1 mark for the first circuit and 1 mark for the other circuit. Right. So moving forward, the fourth one, they are asking, they have given some ports and asked to match the things. So like they are like very clear ports. Like the first one is the power port, second one is the network port, third one is the USB, and the fourth one we can consider it as a VGA, right? Because there are other slots which are some little bit identical to the VGA port, like something bigger and something smaller, but here we got only one thing, so we can take it as the VGA port because they are talking about some connectivity with the LED screen. So LED screen should go with the D. So like the task one will go with the D. Task 2 will go with the C. The keyboard and the mouse, we can connect those things into the PS2 ports as well. But here we got the USB option. So it's the USB going to be. And the network can be connected with the network port. And the power cable, definitely it goes with the A. So like task 1 is D, task 2 is C, task 3 is B, and task 4 will be A, right? So those will be the answers that you are going to have. Right, so for that, you get 0.5 for each matching. So that's how you are going to take 2 marks. So in the third one, they have given you some things from the word processor, things which have done from the word processing software. They have given you a statement, and they have given you the statement after the formatting. So they are asking what are the things or what are the commands that they have used to do this formatting. So you can see that once after the formatting is done, the thickness of the words are being increased. So the bold should be used, and it is lean to forward. So italic is used. And in the 21st word, previously it was 21 and ST are in the same level. Now the ST is gone to the upper level. So we call that the superscripting. So the superscript is used. So either the words should be there, or you can draw the symbols as well, right? So if you got all 3 symbols correct, you can have 2 marks. If you got only 1 correct, it's going to be only 1 mark. If any 2 is correct, it's going to be 1.5. If all 3 is correct, you are going to receive 2 marks, right? Okay, in the sixth part, they are asking you to match the things in the sixth part. You are asked to match the things in the regarding the cloud computing, right? So the in the cloud computing, Leandra, it is no dual. It's only the either the names of the commands or the symbols. That's all. Right? You don't need to write the both. Right? Okay, so in cloud computing, they are asking us to match the three services in the cloud computing with the examples. So infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. Like when it comes to the infrastructure, it says the infrastructure that we are having regarding our computer. Like think about the infrastructure in a standalone computer. ඔගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරන computer එකේ තියෙන infrastructure එක හිතන්න, you are getting somewhere to store your data, right? So if you are connecting to a network, you have these the connectivities and the server facilities and all these things. Those will be the infrastructure, right? So that infrastructure is delivered by the cloud when you are going to the cloud computing. So you don't need any hard disk to store your data. It is stored in the cloud, and you don't need any specific the cabling part between your computers. So if you want to connect with another computer, both the computer will connect through the cloud. So the networking facility is provided, right? And like if you need to have some service, that service can be taken through the cloud, right? So the server facilities can be arranged. So those are being categorized as infrastructure as a service. So A is going to have the matching part from the right side with the Z, right? And software as a service, that means you are given softwares. You don't need to install it on your computer. Cloud will provide the softwares. So like, so the X is going to be the correct answer for that. So cloud will provide the softwares like Google Docs. And platform as a service, it's majorly talking about the operating system and the developing facilities, or like the computer development facilities, right? So those are given by the cloud as well. When you are having this, when you are using these Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets in the Google Drive. So it is a platform for you to use those softwares. So in our computer, our platform will be Windows or any other operating system, right? And on that we are installing our softwares. So when it comes to the cloud computing, the softwares are installed on their particular cloud operating system, right? So which is not installed in our computer but the cloud. So when we are accessing the cloud means we are having all these three facilities. So the correct answers are going to be A is going to be Z, B is going to match with X, and C is going to match with Y, right? So if you got all three correct, you can have 2 marks. Again, as the previous, if only one is correct, 1 mark, 2 is correct, 1.5, all 3 is correct, all 2 marks will be there. Right, in the 8th question, they are asking you to match the things from the list, right? So let me take the English paper. So yeah, this. Yeah, manager of a bank while in Sri Lanka join a meeting held in their head office in India. So it is the way we are connecting, right? So you should go with video conferencing. Since it is a meeting, you can have a video conferencing facility, right? So like someone can say instant messaging is also applicable one, but best answer is the video conferencing, right? Then a secretary send in a soft copy of a report from her manager to all employees working in different cities, right? And for this, actually, they have used an email since it is a official thing, right? Because instant message and all these things are not uh, used for office work. They are just like uh, uh, like an SMS app when it comes to the instant messaging. So only thing is we are sending the message over internet, right? Like WhatsApp and Viber. But when it's come to the official document exchange, uh, we are basically using the email for that, right? So for the second one, it's going to be the email. And for third one, we can use the instant messaging. The technical officer sending a message to his manager, informing that the machine has been repaired, right? And when it comes to the fourth one, a marketing manager sharing photos of a community service project and obtaining feedback from customer as comments, right? So this is definitely going to go with the social networking because it is a place where we can post things and take comments, right? So so the first one is going to be video conferencing. Second one is going to be email. Third one is going to be instant messaging. Fourth one is going to be social network. Blog is not being used, right? Okay, yeah, I'm getting a question. Yeah, Eliandra, blog means it is a web space where a person can express his or her opinion, and others can make the discussion about that, right? So there are many places where you can manage the blogs, right? So, and the blog is given the like the authority or the what the authentication, not the authentication, the access to the blog is given by the blogger, right? Not every one of us just go there and connect with that thing. If it is the one who create the blog, is allowed you to take a part on the blog, so you can participate with that discussion. Otherwise, some bloggers are just expressing their self to the world through the blog, and that's all. There is no interaction part, right? So that is something you call a blog, right? Okay. So if you got all four things correct, you are going to get 2. So 0.5 marks are given for each and every part, right? In 8th question, they are asking how many different colors can be represented if 10 bits per pixel is used as color depth in image. So you know, to find the color depth in image, you have to take the bits per pixel thing as a 2 to the power, right? So simply you have to take 2 to the power 10 to calculate the depth of this image, color depth of this image, right? So 2 to the power 10, either 2 to the power 10 will have the marks, or 1024 number will also giving you the marks, right? I'll show you the marking scheme as well, right? Yeah, it's like this. It's 2 to the power 10 or 1024. Right. So in the 9th question, it says, yeah, to fill out these things. Now, this is a little bit like challenging to you, right? So they are saying they use this particular flow chart to calculate the multiplication of a given number from the beginning, right? From 1, right? So like that means if you give some value, as an example, let's say 4, even here in the question, the next part they are asking about the 4. Yeah. So like if you give 4, the calculation will be 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So that is the way they are going to calculate the product, right? So when it comes to our examination, so like when we are like we need to answer for this kind of question, what actually we are going to do is, let me take the paper for you first. Yeah. Yeah. In a situation like this, we are going to get the help of the hand tracing, as well as we need to think about this, how actually this could be done. So they said input 3. So in this case, it's better you take some sample value regarding this, right? Don't take a very big value for that. Just take a value like 3 or 4 or 5, right? So I'm considering, I'm giving 3 as the input. So my n can be considered as 3. And P and Q is there. They are introducing or like initializing them as 1. So then it asks a question whether Q is larger than n, right? So Q is 1 for the moment, n is 3 for the moment. So it is not larger than n. So we have to go on the no path. So no path has an iteration. And there you got 2 processes to be done. Then once the iteration has happened, P will be displayed, right? So P is going to be your answer, right? So that means this one is going to generate your answer after the loop. And Q will do the helping part for that, right? Now, if you consider how the things are going to be, now if I input 3, my answer is going to be 1 into 2 into 3, which is going to be a 6, right? But I can't do this multiplication at once. I have to do it according to the scenario, right? Like one after the other. So I can decompose this multiplication into something like this. So first of all, there is 1, then there is 1 into 2, then there is 1 into 2 into 3, right? So when 1 is there, the answer will be 1. The 2 is there, 1 into 2 will give you 2. So I can take this answer over here. That is what I have done. Right, then 2 into 3 become 6. So those will be the ways of doing it. Danidu, yeah, blog is actually not like a forum, forum. Definitely you are given to discuss the things, but blog, you can have it individually, right? Just to express things like a web page. Okay, so the steps that we were involved, 1 is there, then 1 into 2, the answer will be created, then that particular answer will be multiplied by 3, then another answer is created, right? So in that manner we can go. So in here you can see the answer will get multiplied with the next particular value. So the values are going to be something like this. First value is 1, second value is 2, and the third value is 3. So answer will be multiplied with something which increase one after the other. These are the answers. Right? So this is going to be P at the end. So that's why we are going to see 6 as the answer. So we can consider then the answer part is going to be P, right? And that particular P is always multiplied with a variable which is increment one after the other. So increment in part or the increment in variable can be considered as Q. So Q should increase 1 by 1 per iteration. So we have to say Q is equals Q plus 1. And for P, what is actually happening is new answer will be created by the old answer multiplied by the number. So that means it is on this manner, right? P equals P into Q, because Q is the one which increment over the iteration, right? So let's hand trace and see. So at the initial point, I'm giving 3, P is 1 and Q is 1. So 1 is not larger than 3. So P is equal to P into Q. So P into Q is 1 into 1. So its answer is going to be 1 again. So no changes happens. And Q will be increased by 1. So Q will become 2. And again, goes and check in the condition. Now the Q is 2. Still 2 is not larger than 3. So it continues. P equals P equals P into Q. So 1 into 2. So P will become 2. And Q will increase into 3. Right? So then again, goes and check the thing. So here now we got 3. 3 is not larger than 3. Still goes on the no path. And P is equal to P into Q. So 2 into 3 will generate 6. And Q will increase by 1. So Q will become 4. Now again goes and check the condition. Now the condition is true. So you have to go on the years part. Then display P. So that is why it displays 6 as the answer. So our calculation is correct. Hari. Did you got this? Mega Terunada? Yes, everyone. Right. So likewise, your answers are going to be then for P, the L is going to be P into Q, this particular thing. And M is going to be Q plus 1, this particular thing. Right? If you got those, you are going to have full marks. Right? So let me show you the marking scheme. Yeah. So this is the way they have shown it. Either P star Q or P multiplication sign Q. Right? Q plus 1 is going to be the other one as the M. Yeah. So like they have said, if the flow chart was drawn again with the correct expression, still you can have the marks, right? And again, you are given only 1 mark for that figure out thing. And next what they are asking is, if N is 4, what would be the value of P and Q after the program ends, when the program ends, right? So we can continue this hand tracing to the, when the N is 4, right? So when the N is 4, my value of N will become 4. So the same calculation happens. Now here, the only difference is when once it becomes 4, the 4 will be compared with 4. Still it is not. So you have to do those things again. So 6 into 4 will happen. So because when Q becomes 4, P is 6 and Q is 4. Now 6 into 4 is happened. So 24 will be generated and Q will become 5. So then it goes and check the condition. 5 is larger than 4. So it is a yes. And they are going to display the P. So P's value, they are asking about the P's value and the Q's value. P's value is 24 if the N is 4 and Q's value is 5 at the end of the flow chart. Right. Got it, everyone? Yeah, have you getting this, everyone? Just give me a confirmation. Right, okay, right, okay. Right. All right, for moving to the last part of the first question. So they are just asking you to match the things, right? For two scenarios, they say assume that a new division of new division name IT located in the Colombo 3 is to be added. Write down the new record that has to be added and the corresponding table name. So if the new division is going to add, it's the division table that you are going to add this. So you can add it at the bottom part. So your record is going to be, this is called IT, and the division number will become 4 and Colombo 3. 3 will be there, right? So this is going to be your answer for the first one, A part, right? And it says to match the things for the P from P to S while considering these two tables. Saman and John works as stores. So like if Saman and John works as stores, so the foreign key of divide is going to be, P is going to be 1, R is going to be 1 because Saman and John is in the first and the third records. And Fasal works at finance division. So Fasal finance division means the, hold on, stores division number is 2. So P is going to be 2, R is going to be 2. Fasal's work at the finance. So Fasal is going to be 1. Raj is going to assign to the IT division. So it's going to be fourth one, right? Which we have created recently. Right, so yeah, let me check it again. Saman and John works at stores. Yeah, so the 2 is and Fasal work at finance. 1 is assigned. Raj recently joined to IT division, so it's 4 is assigned. So P is 2, Q is 4, R is 2, and S is 1. That is how the answers are going to be. Right. Okay, so you can have 2 marks. For part A, it's going to be 1 mark, and part B, it's going to be 1 mark again. Right. So see how many you acquired from 20. So it's a lengthier question we have to discuss there, right? But anyway, it's good we rehearse things. So I'm moving to the second question. If you got any questions regarding this, you can ask now, right? So while I'm moving to the second question, right? Yes. This is going to be your second question. So they have give you some scenario and to yeah, match with the things. So yeah, people, I think we are not being able to do this because we haven't discussed this question in our class. But is there any people who have done this? Then I can discuss because some may have done it in the school as well. All right, okay. Right, let's go with that. Right, so let's discuss the things through here, right? So it says they are just giving some reasons for some health issues, right? So carpal tunnel syndrome. So this is caused by the this is caused because you are not keeping your hands in the proper way when you are using the mouse and the keyboard, right? As they say, when the mouse and the keyboard need to be used, your hands should be like your arm should be resting on a table or particular supporter, and then you should not put extra pressure on the wrist, right? But most of the people tend to use the keyboard and the mouse by having some pressure on the wrist, right? Like අපි මේස උඩ අත තියන්නේ නැතුව මේස කොනේ අත තියාගෙන තමයි අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. So that will give you the aches at the both sides of the ribs. So that is what you call carpal tunnel syndrome. ටික කාලයක් යනකොට එතන ඉදිමෙන්න ගන්නවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ ටිකට මේ විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරන්න ගත්තොත්, right? So it's a poor posture or non-ergonomically designed workspace, right? So like it is having a but inappropriate behaviorance, right? So the solution for that, right? I'm sorry, A is not going with the G. Sorry, it's not, G is not the answer, right? It's the H, painful compression of nerves as it pressures across front of the wrist, right? So the A is going to be with H, right? So here's the possible reason. So that means A is matched with the H, and the possible solutions. They have given several solutions, so you can match those things. Like Q, R, S, and T and U. So any of these, any letter can be taken as a correct answer. So A and H and Q should be there, right? So let's match the reasons first. So A will be gone with the H, and B is the computer vision syndrome. That means you are having like but when you are looking at the screen for a long period of time, it will cause health issues on your eyes, right? So this happens because looking at the computer screen for a prolonged period, right? So B will be goes with the eye. And musculoskeletal disorder, right? So this will happen because of the poor posture, right? So because you are not sitting on a proper manner, you are not keeping your back in the backrest of the chair. Like if you use a stool kind of things to use the computer, you won't be having any back support, so it is going to be a problem. And without keeping your feet touching the ground is going to be another problem. You should always have your feet touching the ground when you are doing something with the computer, right? So the first matchings, like the health issues and the possible reasons, will be matched as A goes with H, B goes with the I, and C goes with G, right? So if you got those things correctly, you are going to have 3 marks: A for H, B for I, and C for G. And then the possible solutions. So they have given list of solutions over here. So for A, the solutions can be taken as Q, R, S, T, and U, right? So Q says stand up and stretch the back arms and the fingers frequently. So your wrist will be rest, and as well as your fingers and all these things. Take regular short breaks from repetitively tasked by using an alarm as a reminder. Yes, so like what they are saying is at least for 1 hour you have to take a break from the computer and have like rest for like another 5 or 10 minutes once you're done with 1 hour with the computer, right? And take regular short breaks from a repetitive task by using an alarm as a reminder. Yes, sorry, we have gone through that. Avoid bending the wrist and keep the arms, wrist, and fingers aligned when typing. Yes, carpal tunnel syndrome can be prevented by that as well. And it says T as well, use keyboard shortcut to reduce typing and motion movements. Yeah, mouse movements. So yes, again, it eventually reduces the things where you are having an incorrect posture, like incorrect arm placing with the keyboard and the mouse, right? As well as that they can take in, avoid hitting the key too hard while typing like use touch typing, right? So like they are saying do not press the keys much harder, so it will what effects on your fingertips as well as the wrist, right? So for B, they are proposing PRVW, right? So one is like resting the eyes, like looking up something and staring something very far away from you, right? So that will make your eye get relaxed when you see something very distant by you. And R, we discuss taking short breaks. V is a position the computer screen to avoid glare. Use curtain or drapes on windows. Yes, right. To see the screen properly, right? We have to make our environment much but a clearer place, right? And W, keep the computer screen about 15 to 20 degree below eye level. Yes, that is a must. You should always have your computer screen below your eye level, not above your eye level, because it is very close to your eyes, right? So B will be having the solutions as PRVW. So in your answer, there should be only one letter, right? One of those. And C, you have the possible answers are Q and R, right? So Q means the stand up and stretching things for the getting rid of incorrect posture, right? And R, which says you take regular short breaks, right? To stretch your muscles and all these things if you got it on the incorrect manner, right? So for the possible reasons, yeah, for the possible reasons, you are going to have 3 marks for these things. And for these things, you are going to have another 3 marks. So we are going to have 6 marks there, right? So for possible solution, you need only one letter to be there, right? Yes. So the second part, they are talking about what are the things that you can match with the given scenario. So they have given some threats regarding the computer, right? Or like the computer systems. So they say a person receiving an email that appears to have some have come from a well-known organization and asking for personal information such as credit card number, the username, and the password of the a person's online banking facility. Yeah. So this is directly a phishing attack, right? Because that is the way of happening the phishing attacks. You will be receiving some SMS or an email by saying you are this particular service is change or update or something, please access through this link. So we will be accessing without thinking about, if we access without thinking about it, so it will direct us to the very look-alike page of your facility. So then you will feel, okay, you are in the genuine site and you will be given some username, password, as well as the credit card numbers if they ask you to do. So, but you are actually giving those details to a fisher because you are on a web, not the actual website, you are in a lookalike, right? Which is a fake one, right? So then fisher can acquire your username, password, and the credit card numbers very easily. So they can do whatever they want from those things. So it's a phishing. So for B, the practice of taking someone else's work and publishing them off as one's own. Yeah. So like this is called plagiarism, right? So plagiarism is not a good it is not an ethical thing to do, right? As well as when the legal issues are raised regarding that as well, right? So it is taking someone else's work like from the internet and just put those things into someone's work and like presenting it as their own works, right? It doesn't matter if you copy things from the internet kind of source or and giving the references, these are the places that I have taken these things out, so it won't be a plagiarism. So we have like mentioned these are the places that we have taken, but if we present it something like we did, so it will be category under the plagiarism. So a person having unauthorized access to the computer network and accessing personal information such as name, address, and of these things, yeah, it's like having the access for a computer network is hacking, right? So like he will hack into this thing and will steal these things. Danidu, yeah, forgery. No, we can't take forgery as a answer for the B part. Danidu, it is forgery means you are creating something fake to them, right? So it's like now the Mona Lisa art. There is an original one, and someone is saying, okay, this is the original one by forging it, right? So that is what you call forgery, right? So that means same like Mona Lisa art can be sell as the original one, but by making it as a fake, right? Original එක තියෙනවා, original එක වගේම තව එකක් ඇදලා කියනවා මේක තමයි original එක කියලා. So we are dealing with the original, but it is actually a fake, right? That is what you call the forge. Certificates වගේ දේවල් වලට yeah, forgery applies, right? Okay, then the C part is regarding the hacking, and the D part, the person settings, a person selling unauthorized copies, not setting it, selling. The person selling unauthorized copies of a licensed software at a 5% of original price, definitely a piracy, right? Because like when you are selling something which is not yours, which has the copyrights, so it will issue you several legal things. So you can't sell that, you can't distribute it, and you can't copy it, right? So like here they are saying it is going to sell which is not owned by that company or that particular person. So it is definitely a piracy. Yeah, the spam means, I think we are going to discuss about the spam when it comes to the some other question, I think. Yeah, it was there somewhere. Like anyway, spam means like what? Very suspicious mails that we are getting, which are larger in size, right? So in lot of email servers, email service providers, they are just saying, just not go to open, do not open these spam mails because they can't. If you really don't know who the sender is, right? Because when a mail is getting big, it can happen for many reasons. Like most positive reason is like the content is big. Because of that, the mail size is big. But the negative reasons can be a lot worse. It can be a virus, it can be a worm, it can be some hacker or a feature trying to access your computer, right? So that is why they are saying, if you don't know the sender, just don't open those things, right? So spam is something, an email which is very big in size, right? So email service providers is having a spam box on their email services, and those suspicious emails are directed to that particular spam box, right? So then we can just delete those things, and if we know the sender, we can open it. Right. Okay, so moving to the third question. Yeah, that is regarding the HTML, so which is a piece of cake, right? So the first one that they are talking about is they are talking about the header, right? The tips for the healthy life, right? Which is a H tag, and also it has the italic format. So we should use the I tag for that, right? So I should be at the under the number 1 tag, right? So when the the second one is talking about with the image, which are being center aligned. So like image tag is in between the tags which was labeled as 2, So those labels should be centered, right? So that's how the image is going to be a center one. So inside the IMG tag, the third label should be SRC because the picture name, the image name is right as the value of the SRC attribute, which indicates source. And we can give alternative text if the picture is not appeared on the web page to have the idea which kind of a picture is going to be here. So alt text is indicated by ALT, which is going to replace the label 4. And next, like after the paragraph, after the picture, you are going to start a list because there are like these kind of symbols are there. So these are the symbols of a list. So this list is called the unordered list. So UL should be there in your answer to create these bullets. So under the UL, there will be like list items, right? So inside the first list item, they say drink plenty of, then they are going to, they have make it a like what we call a hyperlink, right? So, excuse me. Hold on my paper. Yeah, sorry, I think I have went something, I missed the table tag as well. Yeah, sorry. So as the sixth one, it is the table because the first part of the list, this is inner table structure. So you can identify it by that because after that, after the label 6, you can find TR tags, TH tags, TD tags, which are the components of the table. So the 6 is going to be a table tag. And then after, it's going to be a anchor tag to create the hyperreference, right? So in the hyperreference where they have made the hyperreference is with the water, H2O, right over here, right? Probably my image is not very much clear, but I think you have your paper with you, right? So in that, they have used this subscripting thing to create H2O, right? So in the Word, we use subscript command, but in HTML, we use sub tag to do the subscript part, right? So in between the as the label 8, we are going to have sub as our answer, right? So for that particular answer, they have given 1 mark. For other tags, they have given 0.5 marks. So altogether 4.5 marks will be there for that. And here they have mentioned something very important. Haven't they marked it in the, let me see. Yeah, in the Sinhala marking scheme, it was there. Yeah, but they haven't told it in the English one. Yeah, in the Sinhala marking scheme, it was there. They were specifically said, do not give the marks if you write these tags with angle brackets, right? You can, if you write I like this, you are not going to have marks. It is because your angle brackets were there in the answer, in the question. So only this particular place is going to have a number. So 1 is going to be I, that's all. If you got angle brackets, you are going to have no marks for that, right? So be careful on those places, right? All right, so 4.5 marks for that, this particular part. So moving forward, then they are going with the URL, right? One big URL is there. So they have mentioned they have labeled the places on the URL. So P indicates the protocol, HTTP, right? Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? Again, 0.5 marks is given. And www, actually that's the service given by the internet, so which we call the World Wide Web. So Q is World Wide Web. are the entire thing, www.edupub.gov.lk, that entire thing is called as domain name. And the very last part of the domain name is called the top level domain. That means the .lk part. Even the .gov part is also considered as the domain, but not as a top level domain, right? Okay, then T is a big part which says book/English/11/ICT. That is a path. So path to the resource. Chapter1.pdf is the resource. So resource can be a PDF file, can be an image file, can be another HTML file, right? So at the end of the URL, you can find the resource. And the V is labeled for the entire address, which you call the URL, or the Uniform Resource Locator. Right. So for this particular part, you are going to have 0.5 for each. So 3.5 marks will be there altogether. And the very last part, the B section, they have given you some statements to match with A, B, and C, D. Right, delivers web pages to the client using HTTP. Yes, so it is a web server. Web server is the only one which can, just a second. Right. So, yeah, so the one which is delivering the web pages through the HTTP is called a web server, right? Because when you're connecting with particular web page, that web page belongs to a website. So a website is inside a web server, right? So a web server is giving you the particular web pages that you are requesting to your computer through the HTTP protocol. So web server is somewhere else, you are at somewhere else. So taking the web page onto your computer happens with the help of HTTP. Right, then the second one, the B part, it says help uniquely identify a computer on the internet. Definitely an IP address, not only in the internet, inside a network. Also, they are using the IP address to recognize a computer or a device uniquely, right? So it is an IP address. C part, every email that is sent passes through a series of these type of servers along its way to its intended recipient. Yeah, so like we call these things mail servers. Why we call these things mail servers is, if I got a Gmail account and someone else has got a Yahoo account, so I am contacted with my Gmail server, which is an email server, and the other particular recipient is contact with their email server, which is the Yahoo server. So if I send something from my place to my friend, so my email will go to the Gmail server, and from Gmail server through the internet, it will go to the Yahoo mail server, and from Yahoo mail server, my friend will receive it as an email in his Yahoo account, right? So it's when two different email accounts, like the two different email servers are acting together, that's the thing, it happens, right? Api Gmail වල ඉන්න කෙනෙක්ටම Gmail එකක් යවුවොත්, there is only one mail server interacting. I'm sending to the mail server and the other one is receiving from the very same mail server, right? So the C is going to be mail server. Yeah, here's the place we called spams, which we call the unwanted email message, right? Or like the things which are big. Yes, Leandra, Google is a web server. All the websites are having web servers though. So you can take any website as a web server, right? So for B part, you are going to have like how? Yeah, they say 2 marks for that. Yeah, 0.5 for each. right? Okay, so let's quickly move to the Excel, and let's end the session from after discussing the Excel. Then we can have the other 3 questions discussed by next week, right? Since this paper is much important, that's why I'm discussing it a little bit broadly, right? So from the SQL question, what they are asking is write down the things to get the total in the B7 cell, as I remember, right? Hold on, let me take the question paper. Right, so your question says, write down the formula that should be entered in cell B6 to calculate the total for model A in form equal function cell 1 colon cell 2. Yeah, so like B6 contains the total of the thing, so it's definitely going to be a sum function. So it is going to be equal sum from B3 colon B6, sorry, B5, right? So your answer is going to be B3 colon B5, right? Yeah, this is the way they have given the marks for that. Equal sum B3 colon B5, or the other way around. Equal sum B5 colon B3. Yeah, they have done some mistakes here. You must have the equal sign, right? You must have the equal sign. And you can give the range in 2 different manner, B3 colon B5 or B5 colon B3. That doesn't matter, right? Anyway, the range is recognized. So in the second part, they are just asking what is going to be if this formula is copied to cell C6, what value will be displayed in cell C6? Now, here in the marking scheme, they have given many alternative answers, right? So let's go through that. Yeah. Here they have said many different answers, because regardless of the dollar mark, they have just taken the things, because in the question they haven't said it is going to be like copied to the next cell, and it should be this kind of things, right? So if you write just any one of the formation in here, you are going to receive the marks, right? But the most appropriate way is to use the dollar sign, right? So you can have marks for any of these formations, right? But it's better you have the dollar mark with the B10, right? Because B10 is a place where we have to refer. Where we have to refer to take the delivery charges, 350. So each and every cell, like the both B7 and C7 are referring to the B10 cell, right? But here in the marking scheme, they have eased things up. So they have given correct for any of these equations. But in the next question, they are asking if this formula copied to the C7, it is getting this particular answer, then what should be the formula in the C7? So like when it comes to the C7, it is a must to have one of these forms, right? Because either you can have the sum and you can add the B10 to that, or you can refer the C6 column, C6 cell, and add the delivery charges to it, right? Because C6 will give you the total cost of that particular column, and the delivery charges should be added. So since we are copying it from B6, there should be a dollar sign. Yes, hold on, Puta. Did I miss the B part? Ah, yes. Sorry, my dear. I have missed the B part. Yes. They were asking regarding the B part. If this particular the formula, which is sum B3 colon B5, copy it to the C6. What should be the answer? So the answer is going to be 73,250 because you have to add these things up. When you are copying it from B6 to C6, it's going to give you the very same, it is going to copy as relatively. So 71,000, 1,750, 500 will be displayed, will be added together and display the answer inside the cell C6. So it's going to be 73,250. Right. Okay, so if this part is correct, you are going to have 1.5 marks for that. So the first part, it is 1.5. Second part, it is 1.5. For the third part, it's going to give you 2 marks, right, for any formation. And when it comes to the D part, you are going to have another 1.5, and you must have one of these, right? B7 වල තියෙන එකනා තමයි C7 වලට copy කරන්නේ. Then if the dollar mark was not there, then B10 will become C10, which is not going to give you the exact answer, right? So there are 4 answers they have given. So one of those is going to be the answer. Then as the second part, they are asking about some PowerPoint slides, right? So they're asking about the layouts. So the first one is the title layout. Second one is the 2 contents, where you can see 2 boxes for the contents. The last one is the blank layout. And the D is going to be the title layout, right? So if you got those things correctly, they are going to receive 0.5 for each letter, right? And as the very last one of the B part, as it, so they're asking what should be the most suitable one to sort out your to arrange your slides on a proper manner. So it should be a slide sorter. Slide sorter will allow you to show the slides on a one single page, so you can move your slides as you want, and you can arrange your things, right? So from normal view, it is the view that we are receiving when we are doing the presentation, when we are making the presentation. Outline view will show you the contents, outline contents by your left hand side, not as the slides, but the contents only, right? And slide sorter is the answer. Notes page will show you the footnotes with this slide. So one slide and these footnotes of those. So in one single page, you can see the slide and the footnotes. And when you scroll the next page and its footnotes, likewise. I'll tell you, Sairi, I'll tell you, right? And reading view, you are going to have a full screen thing, right? Where you can read the slide properly, like a presentation. Slide master will allow you to change the layout of your slide, which is in your presentation. So when you are changing something from the slide master, the slides which contain the particular layout, everyone is going to be changed, right? Title layout එකේ ඔයා text box එකක ගාන වැඩි කරොත් ඔයාගේ presentation එකේ title layouts තියෙනවා නම් 10ක් 10ම size එක වැඩි වෙනවා, right? So likewise, you can use the slide master, and handout master can be used to prepare the handout from the slides, right? අපි print කරලා දෙනවා නම් tute එකක් විදියට එක page එකට එකක් එනවද, slides දෙකක් එනවද, හතරක් එනවද, notes එක දෙන්න ඕනේ කියන එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් slide master එකෙන්, handout master එකෙන්. And note master එකෙන් ඔයගලන්ට පුළුවන් footnotes ටික format කරගන්න, right? Okay, let me go through the marks again. This B part is going to have 1.5, and this A2 is going to have 2 marks, like 0.5 for each letter. A is 0.5, B is 0.5, C is 0.5, and D is 0.5. So the D part is going to receive 1.5 marks for the first question, like the first part D, and 1C is going to have 2 marks again. 1B is having 1.5, 1A is having 1.5, right? Okay, so people, we have discussed until the 5th question, right? So 5th is due. So 5th, 6th, and 7th will be discussed by next week, plus the 2007 MCQ paper, right? 2017 MCQ paper, right? So get ready with it. Prepare your incorrect questions at your side. So when I'm asking, just send those things to me so I can make the grid, right? So it's better you do the next paper which is due with you, right? So if you're done with 2017, complete the 2016, regardless of when we are going to discuss it, right? So only thing that you need is the practice of doing these things, right? So people, I'm going to end up the session from this point today. Thank you very much for participating, right? So have a nice weekend. If you got any questions, so you can ask it. We're going to discuss the rest of these things by next week. Thank you very much all. Have a nice weekend, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Right, okay.